morning, Trojans, and thank you for tuning in to the Live in 5 show, where we have been living live for 10 years. I'm Caleb.
And I'm Kat. Girl Scout cookies are back, and this year with the new delicious cookie.
7th graders are going on a field trip. Will the weather be good for this field trip? We'll find out in a second.
The Oklahoma City played against the Dallas Mavericks. I'll tell you the scores and highlights of the blowout coming up next.
In the movie Tracers, a bike messenger goes to New York City to run from the mafia.
A couple cancels their wedding and decides instead to travel to all of the 50 states of America.
We have that and much more following the break.
Don't have a yearbook, or do you want to buy one to your friend? Well, we have a solution for you. So talk with our school and raise money to purchase a yearbook. It's easy. Just go to the link on my left and print the permission slip. Then turn it into Mr. Porter in room 205 and he'll give you more information.
As World War II began, Patrick and his younger brother Teddy had to evacuate the island they called home and were forced to leave without their parents. 3 years later, while the war raged on, they would find a way to return by becoming stowaways aboard the USS Indianapolis, headed for the Philippine Islands. Everything was going according to plan, when suddenly 2 torpedoes ripped through the ship's hull, leaving the 2 boys floating on a small wooden pallet in the war-torn Pacific Ocean. They would suffer hunger and dehydration as they floated under the scorching sun, hoping to be rescued. They would even have to deal with the madness that plagued the hundreds of survivors floating around them. But the real danger was circling beneath the surface, and it had teeth. Into the Killing Seas is based on the true events of the 1945 sinking of the USS Indianapolis. It's difficult to imagine how bad things could get for the boys, but once they see the first shark fin, you won't be able to stop reading this book. Experience what is considered the worst disaster in naval history, Into the Killing Seas, at your Scholastic Book Fair.
We're back, Trojans.
It's time for the Tetzlaff play-by-play.
A missing wallet was found in the studio store. If you want to claim it, please come by the studio store and describe the wallet to receive it back.
With all students who ride their skateboarders to school, please report to the lunch tables at nutrition for a picture in the yearbook.
CJSF for second semester is finally here. Any student interested in joining should see Ms. Celestido in room 4F5 for an application.
It's that time again. Bring in your box tops and Campbell's labels for education. The homeroom competition will continue until next Friday. Clip those labels and bring them in. The homeroom with the most labels will receive a prize.
The Tetzlaff Book Fair is coming. Starting next week, save up your cash to purchase your favorite books. Come swing by the library next Monday through next Friday during lunch or after school next week.
The annual Tetzlaff Talent Show has finally arrived. If you could sing, dance, or play a musical instrument, you should try out for the talent show. Tryouts will be held after school in the auditorium on March 10th. If you are going to sing along with music, please bring it on a CD. If you have any questions, please see Ms. Lopez in room 305.
Alright, Trojans, for Friday's Action Reaction segment, David shows us a rather energetic game.
Hey guys, it's Davey here with another super duper fun gaming review. This week's game is Just Dance 2015. Let's dance.
It might seem crazy what I'm about to say. Sunshine, she's here, you can take a break. I'm a hot air balloon that could go to space. With the air, like I don't care, baby, by the way. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Here come bad news, talking this and that. Give me all you got and don't hold it back. Well, I should probably warn you, I'll be just fine. No offense to you, don't waste your time. Here's why.
Wow, what an amazing game. This game features top hit songs such as Happy by Pharrell Williams and Burn by Ellie Goulding to dance to. Did you know that Just Dance has sold over 50 million copies worldwide? Well, that's all the time we have for this week's. We'll see you here next week.
Oh, thank you, David. That's it for the play-by-play at Tetzlaff.
Check out our Facebook page at Live and Fashion to follow up on our stories.
We'll be right back after the break.
I love my little brother Adam. He's almost 5, and he struggles with autism. That means my brother's brain processes things differently than most people's brains. For me, it means feeling guilty when I lose my patience. It means being angry at my stepdad, who expects me to take care of Adam since Mom died. I'm not Adam's mother. I'm only 12. I have my own life. But I changed when I met Zoe. Zoe is blind, so my first thought was, I can't take on another person who needs my help. But she soon showed me that not only could she take care of herself, she could take care of me too. She helped me see that Nori, a dolphin at the local aquarium who was helping my little brother, also needed our help. And together, Zoe and I decided we would do everything we could to get Nori back into the wild.
How to Speak Dolphin is an eye-opening story that can be found at your Scholastic Book Fair.
Another 5 Western Ukrainian members have been killed. The 5 Ukrainian members were killed during a ceasefire with Ukrainian forces against the eastern Ukraine. Ukraine officials are now trying to immediately stop the bloodsheds that are happening. Unfortunately, it looks like they are not going to be able to stop it.
After more than 100 days of fighting against Kurdish militia, fighters were finally driven out of the Syrian border town of Kobani. Iraqi government forces who pushed ISIS back in Diyala province are starting to look vulnerable. Airstrikes have been destroyed ISIS buildings and field commanders. Pentagon spokesman Rear Admiral John Kirby said last week, quote, "We're only 6 to 7 months into this thing. This is going to be a long struggle," end quote.
House Homeland Security Committee Chairman Michael McCaul is concerned the White House isn't doing enough to save hostages held by ISIS. Speaking on the CNN's The Lead, McCaul did not confirm a report from the Daily Beast saying the White House had intelligence on U.S. citizens to save them, but acted too late. Michael McCaul said, quote, "I think time is of the essence in these situations to save these hostages, and it's very, very unfortunate what happened to ISIS hostage Kayla Mueller. I'm concerned they are not doing enough not only to save these hostages, but to win this war," end quote.
Girl Scout cookies are back this year with a brand new treat called Trios. The delicious treat are gluten-free and made with peanut butter and chocolate chips. The classic cookies are back again, ranging from Thin Mints to samosas. Thousands of Girl Scout cookies around the globe are selling their world-famous cookies. They are the biggest and most successful girl-led industry. Although Girl Scout cookies are usually sold for $4 each, the Trios are sold for $5. All cookies will sell from January 31st to March 8th. So if these delicious delectables are what you seek, you need to get them within the next several weeks.
The Jackie Robinson West team was stripped off their championship from last year's Little League tournament for violating rules and regulations. It all went down on February 11th. The team used players that lived outside the recruitment zone, and because of this, the team's manager has been suspended. And the championship now goes to Mountain Ridge.
Time now to check in with Arnell and today's entertainment report. Good morning, Arnell.
Good morning, Caleb. In the movie Tracers, a bike messenger goes to New York City to run from the mafia, and later runs into her again. Discovering friendship and finding out she does parkour, he trains to become one of them. When he gets involved in danger, he later thinks it was the wrong idea to join them. See this movie in theaters on March. Let's see what's going on in the world of weather. Good morning, Sammy.
In our area in Los Angeles, it's going to be 59 degrees. Moving more north, it's going to lower 4 degrees for 55 in San Francisco. Now, as we move more east, it's going to get colder as usual, with Chicago and New York getting near the zeros with 6. So it's pretty cold in that part of the region. of the United States, and moving more south into Miami, it's going to be 54 degrees. All right. Okay. Alright, the live and 5-day forecast. All throughout the week, it's gonna be in the 60s. Sunday with some rain, so make sure to be aware of that. And we're gonna get cloudy all the rest of the days. Alright, now it's time for the pick of the day. Okay, I honestly have no idea what this is, but it was sent in by Jaden Candiv. I can't pronounce his last name, but it's 3D Gorilla Studio. So I guess it's cool. All right, make sure to send any pics anything to pics@liveand5show.com. We'll air it right on the Live and 5 show. All right, now it's time to toss it to the pool with Cameron. Good morning, Cameron.
Good morning, Sammy. Today we have Jaden with us. Good morning, Jaden.
Good morning.
This week we challenge you with a question. Should cell phones be allowed on campus? Here's what you said.
Should phones be allowed on campus?
For students? No. Phones for students, it's too high of a probability that they're going to act as a distraction from the education process.
No.
Why shouldn't they be allowed?
Because they can create distractions for students.
No.
Why should phones not be allowed?
Because it'll be a distraction.
Yes.
Why should they be allowed on campus?
They should be allowed on campus because they can be used for educational purposes, like in math as a calculator.
Yes, because we can contact our parents during an emergency.
Yes, because they should.
Yes.
Why?
So people can use their phone.
Yes,
Why?
so we can keep contact with our parents.
What supervision will be needed?
Teachers watching over us.
Teacher supervision, because the teachers in the classroom.
So the teachers would need to be able to track what the kids are doing on their phone.
Phones teach.
I think phones can teach our kids responsibility. Those phones that have internet access, they allow our students to cruise the internet and experience things that they perhaps wouldn't be able to if they didn't have the internet.
They allow you to go to educational websites that you wouldn't be able to go to in class.
Phones teach students how to be able to be international with different types of materials like technology.
Well, they can be used as calculators for math.
How would phones on campus be a disadvantage?
It would be a distraction for students.
Because they'll get distracted.
By what kids look up. Well, oftentimes phones would get lost. They are very valuable. Texting is also an issue. And we have to make sure that students know how to use the internet properly, especially with social media like Facebook or Twitter or Instagram. Those are ways that if they're not used the correct way, they can be used for bullying. So we need to be diligent about how those websites are used.
Here's the results for this past week's poll. 73% of you said yes. Another 7% of you said no. 20% of you said don't care. Our new question is, should Tetzlaff add cuts to their sports programs? We want to hear from you. Be sure to visit us online at Live and 5 Show to vote. Send in your comments to #LivePoll@liveand5show.com, and if it's good, we'll read it on the air. So Jaden, what do you think?
I think they shouldn't, because if they add cuts to sports, I don't think when they add cuts to it that less players would be likely to be in the sports this year or next year.
I can totally agree. Well, that's it for poll. Let's see what Christian has with us for sports.
Thank you, Cameron. So the Oklahoma City Thunder played against the Dallas Mavericks. Dallas did not play the best, and their best scorer was Dirk Nowitzki with 14 points. Serge Ibaka scored 21 points with 22 rebounds, and Russell Westbrook had a great game with 34 points. Thunder won by 15, 89-104. In other sporting news, former Baltimore Ravens running back Ray Rice released an apology about the domestic violence he had with his wife that banished him from the Ravens. Rice still wants to continue his football career. He averaged 3.1 yards per carry the whole 2014 season. Because of the domestic violence incident and his performance in 2014, teams are having a tough time deciding whether or not to sign him. For this reason, Ray Rice may not find another team. Teams in the NBA have been trying to recruit Goran Dragic from the Phoenix Suns. The Lakers, Knicks, and Heat are teams Dragic was willing to accept to get traded to. Lakers were trying to add Dragic to their roster due to having a bad record of 13-40. He ended up signing with the Miami Heat yesterday. This past weekend was NBA All-Star Weekend. The All-Star Game was played in New York at Madison Square Garden. The West had won 163-158. So Westbrook had 41 points and went on to win the MVP. That wraps it up for sports. Time now to check out your daily 411.
Question. Today's 411 question is, what was the first state introduced into the Union? Virginia, Maryland, Delaware, or New York? Take 5. The correct answer is Delaware. It was introduced on December 7, 1787.
A YouTuber, Budons1, posted a video of a drone getting knocked out by an angry ram. The big ram was on the ground. He sees a flying drone. In the ram, even angry, all of a sudden it steps back and lurches forward. Drone hitting it with his horns. The YouTuber goes in to get